Hello students, we'll now start with lecture 2. In this lecture, we are going to study the difference between a structural programming language like C and an object-oriented programming language like C++. Well, there are many other object-oriented programming languages like Java, JavaScript, PHP, Python, C#, etc. So the concepts that we are going to study now are applicable to all other object-oriented programming language. Okay. So let us now differentiate between a structural programming language and an object-oriented programming language. Now, if I consider a structural programming language, it will solve any given problem by dividing the problem into sub-problems. And this sub-problem is then solved using a set of functions. So if I am using a structural approach of solving a problem, the problem is first divided into sub-problems. And these sub-problems are solved using functions. So what is a function? Function is a piece of code which is used to solve a particular problem or to solve a particular sub-problem, right? Or I can say function is a piece of code which is used to accomplish a particular task. So when I use a structural approach, I solve a given problem in a sequential fashion. Okay. Now, if suppose I consider an object-oriented programming language, how will I solve the problem? In an object-oriented approach, the problem is solved by dividing the problem into set of objects, or I develop the program using a set of objects. You have already studied what objects are, what classes are. Okay. So now in object-oriented programming language, rather than solving the problem using a set of function as we did in structural programming language, what we do here is we divide the problem into set of object. And then we see the relationship that exists between the objects and write appropriate functions so that the object interact with each other. So to demonstrate this difference between C and C++, that is structural programming language and object-oriented programming language, I will take an example of withdrawing the money from the ATM. And I will solve this problem using both the structural approach and object-oriented approach. So let us take the problem of withdrawing the money from the ATM. Now, when you want to withdraw the money from the ATM, what is the first step that you do? You go to the ATM machine, you insert the card, the ATM machine reads your card. If it is a valid card, it will prompt you to enter the PIN. You will enter the PIN. The ATM machine will validate the PIN. If it is a valid PIN, you will be prompted with the option. So you want to withdraw the money. So what you will do? You will select the withdraw option. Once you select the withdraw option, it will ask you how much money you want to withdraw. So I'll say I want to withdraw 1000 rupees. So the ATM machine will now validate whether you have that much of amount in your balance. So it will check whether your account has the required balance. If I have the required balance, the appropriate money will be dispersed to the user or the customer. So what the customer will do now? He will collect the money, he'll collect the cash, okay? And then the ATM machine will prompt him to take back his card. So user will now take back his card, right? So these are the sequence of action that is carried out when you withdraw the money from the ATM. So if I am using a structural programming approach to solve this problem, what will I do? I'll divide the problem into sub-problems. And then these sub-problems are solved using the concept of functions. So the same thing I'm doing over here. If you see here, the first step is to insert the card. So what do? If I'm using the structural approach, I will write a function which will accomplish the task of reading the card, accepting the card from the user, right? Similarly, the second step is to enter the PIN. So I'll write a function which will read the PIN entered by the user. Now the third step is to validate the PIN. So I'll write the third function to validate this PIN. Once the PIN is valid, the ATM machine has to display the appropriate option. So once the user selects the option withdraw money, this particular function, withdraw money function, will be executed. So similarly, I have function to check the balance. I have a function to disperse the cash to the user. I have a function to exit the card or disperse the card to the user. So I have written a sequence of function in order to solve my problem. What is my problem? My problem is to withdraw the money from the ATM. Okay, so this is a structural approach of solving this problem. Now suppose I don't want to use the structural approach. I want to use a very real world approach of solving this problem. That is, I want to use an object oriented approach to solve this problem. What will I do? I will solve my problem by dividing the problem into objects. What are these objects? They are real world entities. Okay, that means I have to now identify the entities that are existing in my problem. So which are the entities which are existing in my problem? I want to withdraw the money from the ATM. So which are the different entities that we come across while solving this particular problem? So when I am solving this particular problem, there are 3 entities that we come across. Can you name them? Can you just give a wild guess as to what are the entities that we come across while solving this particular problem? Okay. The customer who is trying to withdraw the money from the ATM is the first entity, right? He is the first entity who is going to interact with the ATM machine. So my first entity is the customer. Is there any more entities in this particular problem? ATM machine, right? The customer is interacting with the ATM machine. So ATM machine is the second entity. Both are physical entities, right? The customer and the ATM machine are physical entities or physical objects. Is there any more entities here apart from the user or the customer and the ATM machine? Are there any more entities involved in this transaction? Any more entities? Yes, there is a bank, right? So bank is also involved. Why is bank involved here? Because bank is the third party who is going to validate whether your PIN is right, whether the money that you are trying to withdraw is within the balance. Okay, so this type of validation is basically done by the bank, right? So there is a third entity also which is involved in this transaction. So there are three entities here. First one is the customer, second one is the ATM machine, and the third one is the bank. So I have identified the objects that are involved in this transaction. So the objects involved in this transaction are customer, ATM machine and the bank. So let me quickly draw the objects here. The customer, the ATM machine and the bank.